Obviously, it's
next, right?
premature for us to talk about the Model
Right.
X, but it's we have some good ideas that I think people are going to find really interesting.
Well, here's the one part I
So-
didn't fully get is it's SUV or a crossover. It doesn't seem to
It's
be
something.
a great fit for electricity because you need batteries. They wear out. They're not. It's not as dense as gas.
Well, I think first of all, you have to consider, what is the car you're replacing on the road,
Right.
SUVs and all those they have low mileage, but that also means that you're spending a lot on gas. you
right.
know. When you consider the gas savings that you'd get by having an electric SUV, it's pretty huge. You could probably. You're probably spending 3 times as much or 4 times as much per mile as you are with, say, an efficient hybrid like a Prius.
But are modern battery packs up for? I mean, could you get the range? Do you think? Or
Yeah.
okay. When do you think it might come out? What is there a year?
Our focus is very much on the Model S and making sure we get that right. So we really try not to think about the Model X too much. But I'm hopeful we'll unveil a prototype towards the end of next year. When it goes into production is harder to predict because it depends on. We want to make sure that the Model S production line is really operating very well and smoothly before we introduce another variant. But I'd say certainly within less than 2 years from when we start Model S production, we'll have the Model X.
Does this mean though that the economy car might be pushed out then if the X
No,
would be- okay.
we got to learn to do more than one thing at a time. So but for the mass market car, it's going to be important for us to have the cash flow from the Model S program to fund that mass market program. So a mass market car is probably 4 years best case, more likely 5 years for Tesla.
Okay. And one last thing, it's on batteries. We had Tom Friedman a few weeks ago talking about a Moore's law for batteries, and of course a lot of battery experts
There's a mild Moore's law for
scoffed about
batteries. It's on the order of it's maybe 8% a year or something like that,
Is it
averaged
great?
out. But when you compound that over many years, it ends up being a big number.
So what do batteries cost now? Is it close to the 600-700 a kilowatt hour range, or is it?
Well, no. It's if you're talking about the production cost per kilowatt hour of a Tesla battery pack, it's certainly substantially less than that. We can't comment on exact numbers, but it's much less than that.
And are you looking at different chemistries?
We're always looking at different chemistries.
Great. Well, thank you very much.
Actually, I should correct one misperception that's out there, which is regarding the cell itself. For the Roadster, it was the correct perception for the Roadster. But for the Roadster, we use an almost unmodified laptop cell. But for the Model S, it is actually a highly modified cell.
Is it a prismatic cell or?
No, it's an 18650 cell.
Okay.
So the external form factor is the same, so we can take advantage of the economies of scale of 18650 production, but the internals are quite different. More than that I cannot say, but it's the great thing about the Roadster is that it has helped us figure out what needs to improve to make it ideal for an automotive application.
But are you working with Panasonic then on the construction of the cell itself?
Yes.
'Cause I know you make the battery packs.
Yes.
Okay, interesting. Now, last year ago when we last talked, there were no other electric cars on the road.
Sorry, do I have to go somewhere? Or
That's
is
good.
this-
No, you're okay.
Right. There'd been no electric cars. Yeah, and it was kind of a moment. None of the major manufacturers come out with anything yet. Now they are. Nissan's got its Leaf coming out. Ford's got its limited range of focus. GM's got the Volt.
This is great. This is exactly what I wanted to happen.
Will this put competitive pressure on Tesla though?
No.
Why not?
The reason is because people, I think, incorrectly evaluate it as a market for electric cars as opposed to a market. The Tesla is the Roadster is really a competitor for something like a Porsche. It's not a competitor for
a Honda Accord.
A Honda Accord. It's like the person who's looking at buying a Roadster isn't like, should I buy a Roadster or should I buy, a Honda Accord? It tends to be sort of, I'm buying I want a great sports car, and for the Model S, it's going to be I want a great sedan, and I mean as many great sedans as are made will be sold, in my opinion.
Great. Okay.
And if you look at the order volume for Model S, just the advanced orders are really good.
We'll do one more question.